Hello everyone, welcome back to OCD Recovery's YouTube channel. Today I have the great question that is asked all throughout Stoicism, asked throughout REBT and CBT, and just asked very commonly in the anxiety and OCD community. And that is there such thing as a bad person? And in our opinion, in REBT, and some cognitive behavioral therapies and Stoicism, the answer is no. There is more than likely no such thing as an entirely bad person. We've heard things such as the bad seed theory, serial killers and psychopaths and sociopaths being born bad, being born evil. Now, we aren't going to say that there aren't evil traits or things that people do that are extremely horrific to society, such as stuff that Hitler did, Stalin did, other dictators and tyranny all throughout history. Genghis Khan, look how many people Genghis Khan killed. It's unbelievably high. It's insane. So yeah, is there such thing as a bad person? And that answer is no to us. Now, we have bad and good acts, and this is where their fears are latched around values and morals such as harm OCD or POCD or homosexual OCD and stuff like that. So let's take harm OCD. We'll take a clean example of harm OCD. The fear of harming one's children. Now, we have to remember that we're not agreeing with it, right? We're not saying that, oh, I want to harm my children. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that, let's say you were driving home and something happened and you rolled the car and unfortunately your child passed away. That is an event that has now become a real event, okay? A real event. It has actually happened. This is why the philosophical tools of acceptance go way beyond theory, because if people just go with uncertainty in a lot of cases, and they don't work on unconditional acceptance, good and bad acts, not entirely good and bad people. If something were to happen, because life is life and things are sporadic, you have no tools to look at that from a rational perspective because you've only been moving with uncertainty. But now OCD and anxiety is really going to latch because you haven't trained yourself to look at it in a more philosophical outlook, a more outlook of acceptance. So that happens, right? And you would say, I could never live with myself because I would be a horrible, terrible, inhumane person. We look at people cheating, our OCD, if someone is a cheater, right? We don't think the act of cheating is good. It doesn't have almost any benefits whatsoever. Hard to think of even one positive unless you're in a really, really, unhealthy relationship and something happened, because things just happen. But we look at cheaters and we say they're terrible, inhumane, horrible people. Well, not really. Because what if that person was giving to charity? What if that person was the head of the children's hospital and they did a bunch of other acts that we deem good? How do we measure? How do we look at, well, they did this many good acts and this many bad acts, so that means they're an absolutely bad person. They did a couple bad acts, but they did a bunch of good acts, so they're definitely a good person. It just doesn't work that way. What happens is, in societies where we live, because every society is different, Moment and I, we come from completely different places. Moment's from Pakistan, I'm from New Jersey. We have different societal beliefs, we have different religious beliefs, all fine and great. But what Moment might think is good and bad is totally different than what I think is good and bad. This is separated amongst religions, against politics, against the way people see money, all the big topics that are very controversial that people tend to avoid talking about because they don't want to be triggered. We don't have to outright go out and have these conversations, but avoiding conversations your entire life is not the best answer. But back to the theory on good and bad people. So there's no way to measure it. And it doesn't actually make any sense because we can't break it down in any sense where it would quantify into a formula. 2 + 2 = 4. Well, how do you say this many good acts and this many bad acts divided or multiplied equals this person's a good or bad person? We do have people that do primarily a lot of bad acts. Let's take Hitler, for example. These are words from Albert Ellis. Literally, quote unquote, even with my theory and the way I saw life with rational emotive behavioral therapy, I didn't see Hitler as entirely a terrible person. I just saw him with a person with a lot of poor traits. But for me to call him a bad person, that means everything would be bad about him. But that couldn't be the case because there was millions of people that supported the Nazi regime. Millions. So there was a lot of people that actually agreed with Hitler for whatever reasons that was. So it's not as simple as saying that person is entirely bad or good. So breaking that down is extremely important. We know with POCD and harm OCD and HOCD and some of these ones that if they've been latched for a really long time, one usually needs to break down the fear of being a bad or good person, which is also intertwined with the fear of being rejected from society, societal rejection and stuff like that. So let me know what you think about this video. Let me know how many times in your life that you've said people are bad and good people. I did it my entire life. I don't do it anymore at all. I can't remember the last time I judged someone as entirely good and bad. I don't see the world that way anymore. Even when someone does something that really frustrates me, I just think about the act. This is not going to happen overnight. It took me a long time to disassociate between the way that we've been conditioned to think. You know, if someone cuts in front of us in the road, we know nothing about that person. They might be 75 years old. That person's a terrible person. You just judge someone 75 years of their life based on one act. It makes absolutely no sense. But we do that because that's how humans are. We overgeneralize. I said that wrong. And things like that. We simplify things in our mind because it seems a lot easier in that way. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this. It's definitely a hot topic for many, and have a great day.